Welcome to the Bare Metals Cyber Security Plus podcast. This series helps you prepare for the CompTIA Security Plus exam with focused explanations and practical context. For a companion study guide, check out the Achieve CompTIA Security Plus 701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. It is the most concise and complete Security Plus guide on the market, built for busy professionals who want to pass the exam fast and on their first try. You can find this book and others at cyberauthor.me. In the previous episode, we explored foundational agreement types like service-level agreements, memorandums of agreement, and memorandums of understanding. These documents help establish the boundaries, goals, and expectations for vendor relationships. In this episode, we continue that theme by covering 4 additional agreement types that show up frequently in cybersecurity and business operations: the Master Service Agreement, the Work Order and Statement of Work, the Non-Disclosure Agreement, and the Business Partner Agreement. Understanding these agreements is key to managing vendors, protecting information, and aligning with legal and operational standards. Let's start with the Master Service Agreement. A Master Service Agreement, often abbreviated as MSA, is a contract between two parties that outlines the general terms and conditions that will govern all future work between them. The MSA is not for a single project. Instead, it creates a legal and operational framework that supports long-term collaboration. It addresses issues like payment terms, liability, intellectual property, dispute resolution, and confidentiality. Once in place, the MSA allows new projects to be added more easily through work orders or statements of work. The main advantage of an MSA is efficiency. Rather than negotiating an entirely new contract every time a new project begins, both parties can simply attach a new work order under the already agreed-upon MSA. This saves time, reduces legal costs, and accelerates delivery. Let's look at a real-world example. A technology consulting firm enters into a multi-year relationship with a national retail chain. The two companies sign a master service agreement that covers terms for payment, data ownership, and acceptable use of systems. Over the next 2 years, the consulting firm completes 5 separate projects for the client. Each project is governed by a new work order, but all of them fall under the umbrella of the original MSA because the core legal terms were established up front. Both sides focus on scope and delivery instead of renegotiating the basics every time. Next, let's talk about work orders and statements of work. These two documents are closely related. A work order typically refers to a short-term or specific assignment that is requested and approved under the terms of an existing MSA. It defines the job to be done, the expected timeline, and any resources required. A statement of work is more detailed. It lays out the full scope of a project, including milestones, deliverables, performance metrics, and acceptance criteria. In many organizations, the statement of work becomes the foundation for project execution. It ensures that both the client and the vendor agree on what success looks like. Without a clear statement of work, misunderstandings about timelines, scope creep, and cost overruns are almost guaranteed. Consider this example. A financial firm hires a security consultancy to perform a risk assessment. The parties have already signed a master service agreement, so they generate a statement of work for the engagement. The document specifies that the consultancy will review 10 systems, conduct 20 user interviews, and deliver a detailed risk report within 30 business days. It includes provisions for on-site visits, secure data transfer, and a final presentation to executives. With the statement of work in place, both parties know what is expected, when it will be completed, and how results will be measured. Clear documentation in work orders and statements of work is essential not only for performance, but also for accountability. When issues arise, these documents help resolve disputes by clarifying who was responsible for what and when. Now let's shift to the Non-Disclosure Agreement. The Non-Disclosure Agreement, also known as an NDA, is a legally binding contract that requires one or both parties to protect confidential information shared during a business relationship. The purpose of an NDA is to prevent unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information such as trade secrets, product plans, financial data, client lists, and intellectual property. Ls and Ds are common in vendor relationships, hiring processes, mergers and acquisitions, and strategic partnerships. They can be unilateral, where one party agrees not to disclose, or mutual, where both parties agree to protect each other's information. Let's consider a practical scenario. A cybersecurity startup is preparing to pitch its new threat detection algorithm to a potential investor. Before sharing the technical details, the startup requires the investor to sign a mutual non-disclosure agreement. The NDA states that both sides will keep the information private for 3 years and use it only for evaluation purposes. This protects the startup's intellectual property and creates a legal safeguard in case the ideas are misused or leaked. NDAs are especially important in security work. When organizations share internal architecture diagrams, vulnerability reports, or incident response plans with consultants or vendors, they need assurance that this information will not be shared or reused. The NDA provides that assurance and sets expectations for confidentiality and consequences for breach. Finally, let's talk about the Business Partner Agreement. The Business Partner Agreement, also called a BPA, is used to define the relationship between two parties who are working together to deliver a shared service, process, or product. Unlike the MSA, which is focused on terms for providing services, the BPA is focused on how two organizations will cooperate as equal or aligned partners. Business partner agreements are often used in industries where joint operations, shared risk, or co-branded offerings are common. These agreements outline the responsibilities of each partner, profit-sharing models, data-sharing rules, dispute resolution methods, and intellectual property ownership. They are particularly common in healthcare, finance, and technology sectors. Let's walk through a case study. A health information exchange is formed by two hospital systems and a medical software company. All three parties sign a business partner agreement that defines how they will share patient data securely, manage updates, and coordinate on regulatory compliance. The BPA includes provisions for data ownership, audit rights, and breach notification. Because all three parties contribute and benefit equally, the agreement treats them as strategic partners rather than traditional customers or vendors. Business partner agreements also reduce legal and operational risk. When expectations are clear from the beginning, trust grows and conflicts decrease. And in regulated industries, BPAs often serve as evidence of due diligence, especially when sensitive data is shared across organizations. As you prepare for the Security Plus exam, make sure you understand the purpose and use cases for each of these agreement types. You may be asked to identify which document is used to govern long-term relationships, or which one protects intellectual property. Focus on the role each agreement plays and the stage of the relationship it supports. Here is a study tip. If the question refers to long-term vendor relationships and broad legal terms, it is about a master service agreement. If the focus is on project-specific tasks, it's pointing to a statement of work or a work order. If confidentiality is at the core, look for non-disclosure agreement. And if the parties are collaborating as equals on a joint operation, it's likely a business partner agreement. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cybersecurity Plus podcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com. And before you take the test, make sure to check out the practice questions in the book Achieve CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 Exam Success by Dr. Jason Edwards. They cover every domain and are a powerful way to lock in your knowledge.